Hello and welcome to Earground New Voices Amplified. It's a day with the news of the passing on of broadcaster and entrepreneur, a young, amazing, talented Zimbabwean, ZORORO MAKAMBA, and may his soul rest in peace. And word to everyone out there, coronavirus is real. We need to just take as much precaution as possible to maintain social distancing and whatever that we can do to avoid much physical interaction and help each other in this time of need. And so today I'll be speaking to an amazing artist. She is a poet and she has taken the internet by storm. Her videos have gone viral. She's been doing so much poetry, and I thought it was quite interesting to actually get through to her and speak to her and hear her story. Most of you know her as NdiWASU, and her real name is Linda Chido Matsapa. I got that right?
Exactly.
Yes. So welcome, NdiWASU. Welcome to Earground New Voices Amplified. It's an honor to have you on this program. And tell us, who is NdiWASU?
Okay, that's a very broad question, but also, first of all, I'd like to pass my condolences to the MAKAMBA family. This coronavirus is really serious, and it seems like Zimbabweans are not taking it as serious as it actually is, but yeah. So my heartfelt condolences to them. But then NdiWASU is basically me, I would say. I identify basically as a village girl, as I might say it. But I got the name mainly because when Wakawanda, when they see people from Manicaland, they're just saying this person, NdiWASU. But actually, the whole Wasu dialect has got so many variations. So Kuti, the people who listen to my poems would actually tell you, Kuti, I mix everything. Like, for example, from Chipinge, I was born at Chipinge General Hospital. So from Chipinge Nyanya Zibechna, we have now, and that's where Ndokunoreketwa. And then we come into Mutare, where there's more like a mixture of Chibocha, Chindao, and some other parts of Chimanyika as well. That's where you hear people saying, Tisan Hacho, I'm not so dating. They're going on like that. And then I lived in Honda Valley for some time because my mom worked there. So in Honda Valley, we also have our own thing that goes on. We have things like stuff like that. Then I come from Nyanga. That's my raw home. KwaSeti. Then ndokwatinoti ndingokonzwa nemutsoro mutsana wangu uri kuonza. No? That's where we go. And then I left at the Davis Girls Ibonda, which is also around DC.
DC, yeah, I've been there. I've been to the school before.
Yeah, that's a different part as well. You hear people saying warani when are people that, so you get to have a mixture of everything. So yeah, so that's why I just put the NdiWASU part, because people just call you WASU, but they can't really pinpoint where exactly you come from.
And what initiated you to get into poetry? Is it the languages that you're surrounded by, or it's something that you grew up exposed to? Were you exposed to a lot of poetry? Were there poets in your family, in your community, at church?
No, but growing up, I was part of the debate and public speaking team from primary school up to high school. But most of the poems that I did were from Muchkine and Kumbirai. I would recite other people's poems. And then in 2018, I realized that I've never actually heard something that was penned in Chimanyika, basically. There's one guy, I know time poems in Ndau, but then it's so deep that even I can't understand what they're saying. So then I thought, what if I do something that has a mixture of all these Manyika dialects in one? And here I am.
And What was the first video that went viral? What did you take time? Did it take time for you to actually get some kind of feedback, or it was after a couple of videos that people started to receive your content?
The first video that I did was in 2018,
Okay.
in November, when I was reflecting on the events that had happened on the whole coup thing, like what we had experienced as Zimbabweans.
Yes.
So it was called Cry My Zimbabwe Cry. It was a mixture of both Shona and English. And then I think a month later, I saw, I think on one of the social media platforms, that someone had shared my poem. And I was like, wow, okay. And then I stopped for some time because I just do it because it's my passion. Because actually, I studied biology and I did
Ah,
biotechnology back in. So
interesting.
I have no poetic expertise whatsoever. So I just stopped. And then someone came to my inbox. If you know the guy, I know Taffy the man.
Yeah,
He
not
came
happy
to
the
me
man from
and was
Australia.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, you know what? I think your stuff is actually good. Why don't you write more and do more stuff? Then I thought, okay, I'm gonna try it out. That's when I started writing and saying more. And then before I knew it, people actually liked it.
Wow. And now you have so much content on your Facebook, but you have not only shown our poems, but you also have some in English, and you really play around with languages. But you also moved from Zimbabwe, and can you hear me?
Sorry, someone was calling me.
Okay, cool, cool. So, but you also you moved from Zimbabwe. Now you're based in the Netherlands, and you're still rooted. You're still connected to your roots, but you have had to learn new languages. How how has it been for you as an artist, as a creative, just this transition from Zimbabwe now to you?
Well, I'm actually in Norway. I came
Oh, in
just to
Norway, yeah.
study. Yes, yeah,
Okay.
I came just to study. So I do study in English, but then for you to get integrated into community, you need to learn their language. So I'm trying my best to learn Norwegian. Trust me, it's not one of the easiest things anyone can do. But it is interesting to learn a lot of languages. I'm also trying to learn the Ndebele as well because I'm planning on working on that as well. So it's interesting. It only takes like hard work and passion. If you really like learning languages, then it's gonna be easier for you.
Great. But I see a lot of young people are not really interested in the local languages. We see even kids now are growing up mainly on English and other languages, but to really find families and young people of your age that are interested in local dialects the way that you are, it's quite fascinating. Why do you see the need and the importance to actually continue to cultivate and promote your own uh, languages?
Yes. I was actually having this conversation with someone else, and then, for example, they're saying that, oh, they don't see the need why their children should learn Shona if they're going to be staying, for example, in Norway. They get to learn Norwegian and English. But I think that one of the things that defines us is we don't have a national dress or anything else. What defines the Zimbabweans is our language. Of course, culture is dynamic; it changes, but you need to identify yourself as a person. After you've learned English, you've learned Norwegian, you've learned German, you've learned Dutch. At the end of the day, you need to identify yourself as a Zimbabwean. So it is nice, even if you see that I also do like um, totems, which is something that I've noticed that people are forgetting. So my plan is to educate and entertain people so that they stay rooted in the culture. There are parts of our culture, yes, that are not as good as we want it to be, but then there are parts that actually define us. The language defines a person. Your totem defines us. So it's something that has to be passed on from generation to generation.
And talking about passing on that from generation to generation, uh, what apart from just doing videos, are you going? Are you writing any of your poems? Are we going to see books? Are we going to see any literature coming from the content that you're putting together?
Well, I do write down all my poems, but I haven't actually thought of publishing them because I don't know how that works out. But once I figure out how it's done, I think it'd be nice to have it written down because it's something that people actually want to know about later on. Because if you look at the poets that wrote before, they wrote about stuff that was going on in their time. They wrote about what inspired them in their time. For me, I'm all for women empowerment, right? So even if you check every poem that I do, even if it has what we call, I did Shona at O level like everyone else, we call them staringo, right? Like fun. But at the end of
Yeah.
the day, you'd see that it touches a part. that reflects how women are treated in our society before and how it is like right now. So it's something that I want to integrate into the community, that people should accept how women are right now and like help each other out to balance this whole cultural thing.
So do you see yourself as an activist, as a feminist, or as a creative who's touching on issues that regard to women?
Well, I started off as a student activist. And then after I left student politics, I realized, okay, I'm more interested in gender equality and equity. So I'd say I'm a gender activist who puts her points across through spoken word and poetry. So I'm a creative and an activist at the same time.
Wow, great, great. And in terms of your family, how much of support do you get from your friends and family? Do they support what you do, or at times they get unsettled with some of the content? Do you get censored, or you are like at liberty to talk about anything that you feel like talking about?
Well, the good thing is that I'm an only child, so my parents have no choice. They have. But of course, yes, coming from a Christian background and having some of my family members and some of my friends, they don't really take it as much as, for example, there's one of the Netembos that's called, Bonyatso Shande, that attack, the way people see virginity. So now
Yeah.
people don't actually realize that I represent what others think, what others see in the society. It's not necessarily what I do. So those who understand me know that I'm just representing. But then others would attack you that, oh, what are you teaching people? Why are you saying this? But well, it has to be said.
Wow. But what encourages you? What motivates you? What keeps you going?
Hey, that's a difficult question, but I would say what keeps me going most is the support that I get from people. If you do something and then you see that there is actually someone who's supporting you and who actually sees the need for this, some people actually come to my inbox and then they tell me, oh, I had a similar situation or stuff like this has happened. Because I started this thing called Inspired to Admire, where I was collecting stories on women and then sharing them. So then from there, I noticed that there's the same baseline on each story, whether it's on abuse, whether it's whatever that's going on in their life, this whole inferiority complex. So when you put that together, you come out with a poem, and other people feel that, I've actually helped them say their story out there. So for me, that keeps me going. If you do something and then people support you, they like it, you know that at least you're making a difference.
Wow, they say, every poet, every writer, every creative also feeds on other creative content. What kind of material, what kind of books do you read? Which kind of poets also do you listen to? Like, what is behind your creative energy? Like, do you feed on any other content? Do you also admire other artists, and which are these?
Okay. Before like I said, I just thought of stuff and then I would write it. But then I've actually looked at, there's this person who's called the Unspoken, if I'm not mistaken. It's the underscore Unspoken. That
Okay.
was, he actually, he inspires me quite a lot. So I've looked at some of their works and I'm like, okay, this is good. But then when it comes to books and all, since I came here, I don't really have access to that. So I just use my knowledge from my O level, like from some of the things that I learned during O level. And that's why you see that I don't have like that whole poetic rhyme thing that goes with my stuff. I just say it as it comes because I'm not professional. Like actually, I just write and then I speak.
Wow. We have, luminaries. We have like some amazing female writers from Zimbabwe,
Hmm.
from the past generation, the likes of Yvonne Vera. And right now we have Tsitsidanga Rembwa, who is one of the prolific international writers, and we have Blawino Violet. Do you connect to their work? Do you resonate with the kind of narrative that they've sort of set, considering that we're coming from an environment where there were not so many women that were active in the creative arts, in poetry, in music, in dance, in theater?
Well, I'd say I've heard their names, I've seen some of their work, and I think it's really good. It's really inspiring that, there are actually women out there who can do it. It's one of the things that I always tell people that if someone else can do it, then it means that you also can do it. You just need passion. So, yes, I do resonate with your work.
Great. 5 years from now, where do we see you? As a bio, what as an academic, as an artist, or both?
I think it all depends on how it's going to work out. But I do plan on making a career out of the whole poetry and spoken word thing because it is actually my passion. I really like doing it. I enjoy it. But then also, I'm a scientist, so I cannot let my biotechnology and my biology go to waste. So I'd say you'd see me partly in the lab doing my stuff, depending on where I'm going to be working. Right now, I'm working on Carpenter, so yes, you might see me somewhere in Kariba, but at the same time, if there's a show, if there's anywhere that I'm allowed to perform, you might see me there. And if this whole publishing thing works out, you might be seeing some of my books out there as well.
Oh, great, great. And what would you say to a young girl who's there, kwa Odzi, or who's there in Mtoko, in Mandarin, in Lupane, or in Gwanda, who's watching you and possibly they have not been confident enough to just get themselves up and start poetry, but they desire to become a poet or an artist? What would you say to them?
Okay, I'm just going to pick something from one of my favorite poems, which is called Kwira Mkadzi Kwira. I always stand by that, right? So what I say to them is that hazvina ndaa kuti zvakaoma sei, hazvina ndaa kuti uri pai, hazvina ndaa kuti ndiani anoda kukumisa. Iwewo kana watode chiro, kwira mukadzi kwira. Hakuna chinombokumisaba. Kana inini ndakakwira, anhu ese akakwira, akadzi ese machechi akakwira, ese aunoona ari pamusoro aya, akasvikapo nekukwira nekuti akaone chiro akachida, akachiendera akakwira. Saka ndinoti chii? Kwira mukadzi kwira. Hapana chinombokumisaba. So yes.
Wow.
Try it out.
Wow, awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome. You know, I'm actually thinking, are you aware of the comic element that comes through from your poetry?
I would say now from the comments that I get from people, I'm actually seeing Kuti, it's actually there. Because like I said, my main point was to sort of like educate people.
Yeah.
But looking at the way we are structured as Zimbabweans, if something doesn't have a comic element to it, no one is going to listen.
No one is interested, yeah.
So the more people listen, they're gonna laugh, but at the end of the day, they'll still get the message. So yes, I'm now aware of that.
Wow, great. But I mean, one thing that I wanted to ask when you started, but it slipped my mind. Why is it important for one to actually study and get an education, even if they are creative, even if they're an artist? You're studying biotechnology, but at the same time, you're an artist. A lot of people would say, you know what, I'm just going to be focusing on my arts and I'm not going to study, I'm not going to go to school, but you decided otherwise.
Okay, I actually didn't have a choice, I would say. I've always wanted to do art history and Shona at my A levels and then take it over. But then looking at the way our economy is structured as Zimbabweans, it's always good to have a plan B. It's always good to have somewhere where you can step back on. If you see the way the artists perform, like we've got great artists, but the way our economy is structured, they don't go anywhere. The talent just gets wasted. So you need somewhere to fall back on. You know, so in as much as you have a passion, you want to do something in life.
Yeah.
For example, if I was based here, like staying in Norway forever, I was obviously just going to be doing art because the economy allows me to explore my art and do that and, you know, make money, make a living out of it. But back home, I really need somewhere to fall back on. So I do have my biotechnology. It wakes up today, no one wants to listen to my stuff, or, you know, I reach a blank spot, I don't have anything to write anymore. I still have biotechnology. I'm still going to work. I'm still going to feed my family, you know, something like that.
Yeah. Wow, awesome. Thank you so much. It was really great, I mean, speaking to you, but you've already provoked our poetic senses and it'll be interesting. I think our viewers would definitely love to hear one last poem before we close this program.
Okay. Is there a particular one you'd want me to talk about or just...
Maybe to your choice. I like so many of the poems and there's this one. Well, I think maybe just run with your choice.
Okay. There is one that I actually like because for me, it hits home for most Zimbabwean women, right?
Yeah.
You're out there, you found the love of your life, you're married, you know, you give all your years into it, and then all of a sudden the guy leaves you for someone else. So it's called Ndashatanas.
Okay, great.
So
Great.
yes, I hope I get this right. It's like ndashata nhasi naika ndambashata nyamusi nekuti chipfuwa changu hachichaboori bresha nekuti nyama dzangu dzambaadhebhedha ndashata nhasi naika. Okay. Right. Yeah. So like I was saying, it talks about that, right? And then the guy goes on, he meets this beautiful woman, right?
Yeah.
The lady is like, ngendaa yekuti wasangana negetsi, ngendaa yekuti wazoona uno mukadzi wakanaka ukati aiwa izvi handichada. But when the lady got married, this family was actually using them, was actually using the girl and everything, you know. She goes on to say like, makati mazuva aneri akadhongi renyu rechimanyika ndaimbasenza inini zvese ndaiita, musha unoyu wambaazara nana mhofu naana chihera, iye zvino ndadhebhedha handichatarisiki, ndashata nhasi nhaika. So it's
Wow, powerful, quite powerful. Wow, thank you so much, NdiWASU. Thank you so much, Linda. It's been awesome. It's been great speaking to you, and also you taking your time to be on Earground. It's a humbling honor, and I wish you the best. And we'll definitely be keeping track of what you're up to, what you're doing, and reach out to you from time to time. And thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much.
Great. To everybody who's watching, thank you so much for watching New Voices Amplified Earground. This is the platform where you get to speak and hear and interact with artists, Zimbabwean creatives that are working not only in Zimbabwe but also within the diaspora and all over the world. And NdiWASU is one of the amazing talents that have created an online media sensation, and I think she's an amazing artist. And you can follow her on Facebook and on YouTube. Where do people connect you? I know your Facebook page is NdiWASU. What are your other handles?
It's NdiWASU on Facebook, NdiWASU on Twitter, NdiWASU on YouTube, and NdiWASU on Instagram.
Great. NdiWASU Quest and NdiWASU. Wow. So just follow NdiWASU on all these platforms. Just Google NdiWASU. Wherever you see NdiWASU, like and follow, and stay tuned and watch some of the videos that she has there. Until next time, New Voices Amplified Earground. My name is Floyd Marco. It's been a pleasure to have you guys.